movers and the shakers. Number one, never let somebody censor you.
I am a native of Dabo.
Go back to the Holy Quran for solutions. Now the Quran bin Shah Zumba.
And you'll want Abdul Nasr Imam Mahmoud Al Haji Jibril Imam Mustasha.
Look at your beauty beyond your physical appearance.
Why not join me, Abdul-Jalil Naabeli, the son of Musa Kumo, as my guests and I throw you life-changing stories.
Anula nepo alo le kamza sa kul be Sagani TV man ordna chiva ka go tenjia sa shel ngo you Abdul-Jalil Naabeli azimba dalembara inshallah ka de tun so kamza sa gumar Sagani TV to budi afan shel dum bela zo dab sel ngo men den nya shel kan kul ya so nya ba kamale tana kul be te yumata chuma fune inshallah na we party zo dale trambe business sina high school bisko mbala kurga ataira kul me Tamale san tafsa shaba ka bayan chante di shukuru be ma alzaba don kulen chaka ba pansa ko bana zan jande shukuru ma chande ne da ni mo hayeto anan ye shale ta ton kun na shale to bazan son la level ma mbala to rezo na ira part de la zimba de ma ajmariam idrisu wonda nye sa anargo mc nta inshallah ho nyala wonda be speakers ma pune la nyala ka Dr. Kailan wonyala ngombe UPSA kanye old biscan ogwara nyala ngo yambe shimale Alhaji Mohamed Harun Cambodia inshallah wonda nyete guest of honor for the day ogwara ngo yambe jima pune donc kulen chaka bazan ale samazan tinti la nyero indeed hale wonda di miss number 2021 dipo mbala awula ko non and you know dare to dream ogwanyala ngo yandi ale samabel fu zanti la shukuru be mama donc kulen cheka be kwa pense ko bane di pa shel so abiane kabansa tinyara miss world nama so now ira party alizimba daba kurga taira ku mi agwaye ku bora anto basna katanya tenya za so shamka den not amfani to ama tanda ko be chuma ubone kayan tiga na we party 7th March den the career near climax tranya la banya non some symposium shele enta la symposium mo ba nyala ben shaden da jin non dagban do men vo topsa nyala ben da nzi alizama pa zan jande yeto a shadon kulen chaka dagban titoni la nyala ka try launch book la dapsel ngoma kana che meet and greet di no maka akulenya tan jil shaman ordna chiva zo kar borna mi so po ayo taba den da ma nye dapse shalana to no de nasara do me vo za nyala ben da mbiar ben biar ya la zo agwanto ko kara den dalma di nyala man shane ka bora na mi o jene kare nyala Mr. Wilberforce ka ngone nyala Professor Abla Isafo Dr. Ibrahim Tanko Amidu an ko bora na mi so meet kar yupa be kamar nyiro nta opportunity ba na ira part din dala gwanto kana t-shirts la mi baranya don ko aranta t-shirts mo ba nye ticket to the particular program ma di no maka ara borna kana ni mane shi ka dala t-shirt mo ba nta akulye ma no na chiva t-shirt ka kana donne so be ambo ani boka bora to bara ambo share tin chaka pe venu ma men don ko papa tin ya ba ya no jingle kare gina so na ta gba ko be lo le kamza sa anto ngbe sortable kabwaza le pai ndi amfani ma to te ngum chato fo kom kalabna ti labna zo dab silma to kula na program ma silme silon dama tension so ma o pa dagbana and that is why katebol my northern achiever ka dagban achievers and so 10 years silma de malada lire zo ti chato fo kom ba kalabna ay bona gbar kul dole jaya ka nyala bi ba ala ma ay bum de silma ko lilia bro tra jara ka gwaddi amfani shaldembe program ma de chankata ta labna po. Thank you so very much for staying here with me on my Northern Achiever on Sagani TV. My name is Abdul-Jalil Naabeli. Today I have another great personality. This is my Northern Achiever, and trust me, this is a program that you learn a lot from people from all walks of life, and trust me, you won't want to be anywhere else but my Northern Achiever tonight, because I have a great personality like always, and he has been in Ghana, he's traveled around the world, and he's back to Ghana. He'll be traveling back very soon. What is he doing here in Ghana right about now? How did he grow up? What are some of the things that he has done? What is the difference between Ghana and the other side of the world? All of these and others we are going to probe to find out what it is about. And today I have with me the legendary Mr. Bawa Abudu here on my Northern Achiever. Welcome, sir, to the program.
Thank you very much.
And we are most grateful for, in fact, it's been a very short notice, and you've been able to organize yourself for us to meet you today. And so we would like to say thank you very much for being on the show. And I do believe that by the time we finish this particular episode, a lot more people are going to learn something new from you. Thank you so much and welcome.
Thank you very much, Sagani TV. Thank you very much. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you. All right, so this is what we do. We profile people and we try to get to know who you are, and so that we, the youth, can also learn a lot more from you. And they say that it is a fool who make mistakes, because people have made a lot of mistakes that you can easily learn from, so that you don't make those mistakes. Now, before we delve deeper into what you do and what we can learn from you, we would like to first profile you. So if anybody had asked you, Mr. Bawa Abudu, who are you? How are you going to describe yourself to this person?
Right. I would say Bawa Abudu. I was born and bred here in Tamale.
Okay.
And after my education, I enlisted into the Ghana Armed Forces.
Okay.
In 1974. In fact, we were the pioneers of the Nyohoni Military Training School.
Whoa, let's not get that deep. I really want to unfold you.
Okay.
So let's start from the beginning.
All right.
You enlisted in the armed forces in 1974. Which year were you born?
I was born in 1953.
Wow.
1953.
So you are older than Ghana. That is serious. And so from 53.
Yes.
Here in Tamale.
Yes.
But what tribe are you?
I'm a Busanga by tribe.
Okay.
I'm a Busanga by tribe.
And so you were raised here in Tamale?
Yeah, I was born and raised here in Tamale.
But how come your Dagbani is that bad?
Yeah, well, I've been living in Germany for almost about 42 years now. And there along the way one loses.
Yeah.
I speak Dagbani.
Yeah.
But my Dagbani is not so. Yes. I just don't want to embarrass myself. Yeah.
Yeah. So now let's start from the beginnings, the humble beginnings of Mr. Bawa Abudu. Now, is it that you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth? If not, what were the struggles like here in Ghana?
Indeed, I wasn't born with silver spoon in my mouth. I come from a very humble family. Okay. My father was an ex-soldier in the Gold Coast time. He was with the West African Frontier Forces. That was long time ago. And after his service, he decided to settle here in Tamale. And built his house, and we were all born here, brought up here, went to school and everything here.
Wow.
Yeah.
So where did you start schooling? Here in Tamale, from primary, junior high, senior?
I started at the Pima Primary School.
Okay.
And then went to Debokwa Middle School, and I did correspondence courses, O-levels, A-levels, and things like that. So. And I ended up working with the Cotton Development Board here in Tamale. That was in the early 70s. But we even opened Cotton Development Board here in Tamale. Okay. And I worked as a clerk, and then later on I worked on the field. And 1974, I left Cotton Development Board and enlisted into the Ghana Armed Forces.
These are interesting times, and I believe we'll come to talk a lot more about your enlistment and how it went for you. I know you are into music as well.
Yes.
And all of these things, a soldier, a musician, how did you blend all of these things? But then, let's come back to the house. Everybody has an upbringing.
Yes.
What was your upbringing like? Is it that they just left you just move around and do what you want?
No. My father was a very disciplined person. As I said, he was in the armed forces, and he was a regimental sergeant major. Okay. So being a regimental sergeant major in the army, you can imagine how disciplined he was.
Indeed.
So we were, he imposed this sort of discipline in us, and we never had things easy. Okay, we didn't live. We were not comfortable, let's put it this way. But we appreciated that he was able to send us to school and to provide us with education, while so many unfortunate people didn't have a chance to go to school. So,
Wow. And any classmates at primary and junior high levels that you can remember? Who are still in Tamale?
Yes. The late Dr. Husseini, the late Dr. Abdullah, the one who opened a hospital here and taking care of mentally.
Okay, Dr. Chow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shogo was my classmate.
Okay.
He was my classmate. And Sidhu Yakubu Pelga.
Yeah.
He's a professor now at the University of Science and Technology. I think he's even a dean of the faculty, one of the faculties. He was also my classmate. So these are people that I can make mention of.
So growing up as a child, you were in primary school, you went to the, Dabokpa Middle School, and you did a couple of jobs. You know, at that stage in time, did you have a role model, people that you looked up to and you were like, wow, I want to be like this person?
Oh yes. Okay, I was into music. I like music so very much.
Okay.
And I think the first musician that I ever saw in my life, I'll put it this way, was my own mother.
Okay.
She could sing very well. And I remember her putting some rings, rings like that, and we would have a calabash on her laps, and we'll be tapping the calabash.
And then it will be making some sound.
Exactly, and then she'll be singing. You see, that was my first exposure to music. And then I have other elder brothers, and one of them was very good. He was a very, very, very good singer, Sana. And he was really very good into Congolese tunes and things like that. So he also inspired me. So along the way, I wanted to learn to play an instrument. And during those days, it wasn't possible to get an instrument here. During those days, hardly did you see someone holding a guitar or a saxophone or whatever it was. It wasn't easy. But I was lucky somehow that when I enlisted into the Ghana Armed Forces in 1974, after having passed out, I was posted to 6th Battalion of Infantry, Kamina Barracks, here in Tamale. And there I had my first exposure to manual instruments through the Ranchis Dance Band. So, and one of them was a close friend of mine. He was a solo guitarist.
Okay.
So I teamed up with him, and then he taught me the basic things on the guitar. So, and I tried to acquire a guitar from him, an old guitar without strings and these things like that. So I had to take the wires, some wires like that, from cables, and then fix them. Yeah, exactly, from my own strings. It sounded terrible, but I was okay with it. So, and as I said, I served in the Ghana Armed Forces from 1974 to 1980, and I left Ghana and went down to Germany.
Okay.
Whilst in Germany, I was exposed to so many instruments.
Yeah.
There, everything was there.
But before we talk a lot more about the Germany exposure and other stuff, you were in the Ghana Armed Forces.
Yes.
You know, how did you join?
Okay. As I said, my father was in the armed forces.
Okay.
So I always admired my father, and I told him one day I would also like to be in the forces.
Okay.
To defend.
So it was your choice, not your father's.
It was my choice to defend Ghana, to defend my country, to be in the uniform and to defend my country. This is how it came all about. So whilst I was working with Cotton Development Board in 1974, there was some publication in the newspapers, as we always know, enlistments, and I applied for it, wrote the examinations, and I passed. I went through the medical tests, and I was enlisted.
Your experiences in the training?
Say again?
Any experiences in the training that you want to share with us?
Oh yes, it was a very, very hard time. As I said, we were the pioneers of Nyahoni military training school. We were the first ones.
Okay.
Our training wasn't easy at all. So, okay, as compared to the training that we have today, I've been watching on the internet and how they have been trained, we went through really very, very hard times. Very hard. You couldn't compare the training that we had to what is going on today.
Wow. So what made you endure all of this? Because sometimes some people even run away from camp.
Oh yes, I mean, during my time we were many, let's see, probably 800 people. By the time we passed out, we were about 500, 600 people.
What happens to the rest?
So most of them ran away.
Wow.
Yes, most of them ran away. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. Okay, with me, there were times that I said to myself, look, I was all right with cotton board. I was respected. And
so who sent me here in the first place?
Yes, I asked this question. There were so many times I asked myself, who sent me here? Why am I here? And things like that. So, but you know, I said to myself, I'm not alone here. And when others around my age could also do the same thing, I should be able to go through. So it was just through determination.
That was the push factor.
It was.
Interesting. And so would you advise anybody watching about that? There are so many people who think maybe I also want to be a soldier, I want to be in the army. Would you advise anybody to join?
Oh yes, I'll do that, because okay, there are people who think the army, what do you get from the army? You learn a lot of things, and all that I learned in the army did help me abroad.
Okay.
I learned discipline. That is number one. Discipline, punctuality, to be punctual and to be reliable.
Okay.
So all these things you learn, especially the discipline. Discipline is number one, and discipline helps you to shape up your life and to be able to mingle up with
other
society.
people,
Exactly.
and then at least you can always fit into any place.
Exactly. That helped me so very much in everything that you do, like with the music, you know. So in every aspect of life, you know, you have the discipline. You grew up with the discipline. You were trained with discipline. So you apply that sort of discipline that you've had into whatever you are doing, and then you succeed. So it is good.
I'm loving this, and what I didn't talk about actually is your days at the Cotton
Development Board.
How was it like? You know, what was the job like?
Oh, it was very interesting. Really very interesting. During my days, okay, fine. We had experts from abroad. We had attachments from the United Nations Development Program, white people. We had also a session of the FAO, Food and Agricultural Organization. So we had all these people. We had research units. We did entomology, seed multiplication, agronomy, so many aspects of agriculture, and you learn so much. And I was something more or less to like a technical officer. I could go on the field, in the field of entomology, collect insects, come down to the laboratory, label them up, and then, you know, we try to find what specific chemicals or insecticides that can damage these insects.
And it was solely about cotton and how to protect the cotton industry.
Yes,
but
production of cotton.
Nonetheless, at some point in time, Ghana cotton collapsed. In fact, I don't know whether they even cultivate cotton here in Ghana.
I heard so.
How does it make you feel?
I don't feel so fine about it. I visited a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago who told me that, because I made mention that I was working with Cotton Development Board, and then he told me there's no Cotton Development Board anymore, it's no more functioning and things like that.
But there's no cotton again.
Yes, and I was very surprised, because during our time it was really a very big thing. Cotton farming, you know, was a big thing. The farmers liked it, they got incentives, they were being encouraged, they got prizes. It was a very, very big thing. And all the chiefs around the villages and most of the people around in upper region, all over, you know, everybody engaged in cotton, because cotton was something like a crop that gave them more money. And then all of a sudden to realize that what we had started and what was blooming during those days is no more in existence. So it doesn't sound so good in a way.
That's quite unfortunate. And this is where we're going to draw down the curtains a bit and go for a very quick commercial break. We are going to come back and then we'll talk about what rank he was in the military and leaving. Was it difficult leaving? Because sometimes we hear stories about it being very difficult to leave the army once you enroll or you enlist. And I just thought we will talk about all of this and more after this commercial break. Thank you so much for staying loyal to my Northern Achiever on Sagani TV. I have with me today Mr. Bawa Abudu, and he's an ex-serviceman, he's a musician, and a whole lot. We'll talk a lot more about him. But before we went for the commercial break, we spoke a little about cotton. In fact, it's a sad end to cotton here in Ghana. I don't know as to whether any government would ever even think of, you know, reviving the cotton industry, because we only heard stories about how cotton was important to the economy of the country, but today it is no more. But if we put it aside and come to the military, now you enlisted into the military in 1974 at the age of 21.
That's true.
And what was your rank at the time?
All right. After my basic military training, as I said, I was posted to 6th Battalion of Infantry. I'm posted to support company.
Okay.
And when I was posted to 6th Battalion, and after my battalion training, after having passed out, you do battalion training. So you come down to your battalion, and then you do battalion training. And my company commander at that time thought I was good. So he made me an instructor, even though I have no rank.
Wow.
So I became an instructor, instructing them. And yeah, he didn't keep all that long, and he recommended me to go for training at the military academy in Tishi. When I came back, I became a full instructor. So, and I was promoted to the rank of a Lance Corporal.
Okay.
In fact, 6 months after having passed out. It wasn't heard of during those days. So, and yeah, well, I became an instructor, and then 1977 I was selected to go to the Middle East. That's in the Sinai Desert, United Nations Peacekeeping Forces, exactly. And when I came back in 1978, I was sent back again to the military academy for an advanced course of what I did before. So I came back to the battalion, and I was a full instructor.
Okay.
So, and within 3 months after coming back from my second course, exactly,
course,
yeah, I was promoted to the rank of a corporal.
Okay.
So I had 2 stripes. And but then I decided I want to see the world.
So
I just don't want to stay in the army throughout.
Before I come back to talk about your wanting to see the world and to explore,
yes,
you know, peacekeeping. We hear a lot of stories about peacekeeping, and you know, what experiences can you share with us in the Middle East when you were there?
Okay. During my time, there was this the war between the Egyptians and then the Israelis just came to an end, and that was why we were there. We were at the buffer zone.
Okay.
So, there are experiences because we were also engaged in the collecting of dead bodies. And handing over the dead bodies to the respective
countries.
Yeah, exactly, and things like that. So it wasn't an easy thing to do. Being far away from home, you miss your people, and you could never tell what would happen. You know, whether the enemies, the Israelis would fire upon you, or the Egyptians would fire upon you. So you are all in sort of. It wasn't an easy thing, and. So we stayed there in the Middle East for 6 months, and we were very lucky. During my time, nobody got hurt, and were able to come home safely.
That's interesting. And usually, how does this make you feel? You know, you are in the army, you have been asked to go and carry some dead bodies that have no connection with you. And how does that make you feel?
Well, that's what I talk about, army and discipline. You are trained to adhere. You are trained not to question. You are trained to take orders and to do exactly what you are told to do. You see, so there's nothing.
No strings attached.
No strings attached. Exactly, no emotions. You just have to do what you are told to do.
No sentiments whatsoever.
At all, at all. You may not like what you are doing, but you would have to do it. You have to do it, and that's the army.
Fast forward, you decided to go and explore the world. How difficult was it making a decision on this one?
Okay, it wasn't all that easy, because you always said, I always said to myself, so how is it going to be? I mean, you know your own country, you know where you were born, you know the vicinity, you know where you want to go. You don't know how life is there. So that's number one thing that comes to your mind. But I went through all right. I mean, I got to Germany, fine.
But is it that you got wind of an opportunity to go to Germany? You got assurance that you get a visa, and how did it happen? Is it that, or you just decided, look, I'm leaving the army? But even before then, how difficult was it for you to leave? Is it true that if you want to leave the army, it becomes a real big problem?
No. The army, when you are in the army, you have terms. For example, your first term would be 6 years. And after 6 years, you are called again to sign for another 6 years. Like that.
Okay.
So when I came down to my term, I decided that was it.
You won't sign again?
Exactly.
Okay.
And so I knew what I was about, and I had friends over there in Germany.
But you left army, you now went all the way to Germany. Was it difficult getting a visa?
It wasn't all that easy. It wasn't all that getting a visa, but I had very, very good friends of mine over there, and they've been in Germany for quite a long time, and they are established. So they were the ones who helped me to get back. It's not easy getting, even till today, it's not easy to get a visa for European countries.
So you went to Germany. First, I'm sure they would have given you a visa with time, you know, that has a timeline on it. Maybe say a year or less, or maybe 2 years visa. Were you determined? Now, are you a German citizen now?
Yeah, I've got a German nationality, but in my passport, I'm stated I'm a Ghanaian.
Okay. Now, how was it like the first visa you got? How many years were you given?
Well, I was given, first you are given three months. First you are given 3 months, and then you try to extend it again, and you would like to see what you are doing and things. But I was very, very lucky enough that I got a German family that liked me so very much through the music. And so I got adopted. I was adopted as
a member of their family.
Exactly, member of their
family. So after the first 3 months, they extended it to...
Exactly. So, and then I had to go to school. I had to go to the language school. I went down to the language school for a year, and I was to do translation. So I had to go to a special institute. So I sort of slipped out of the normal tourism visa to being a school guy, going out to school, and then I was in the language school. And from language school, I went down to the institute to do translation and things like that. So and after I finished, I didn't finish the language school, the translation school, because I had problems in paying school fees and things, and my family also couldn't assist me in that way. But so eventually I got married. I got married, and once you get married, I got married.
You got married to a German?
A German.
She's a white woman?
Yes.
Okay.
And so that was it. I had no problem again. I could stay there.
So that leads me to my next question. Was it a marriage of convenience?
It wasn't a marriage. It wasn't a marriage of convenience.
Okay.
I have 2 children with my German lady.
Okay.
And my daughter is now 30 years.
Wow.
My son is now 27 years. So.
Has she been to Ghana before?
Oh yes. I came down here to Ghana with them in 2005 when I got a first hit, through a big label, and the Deutsche Welle television. They were interested in my life and everything. Where I come back, so I came down with the whole of my family here with the Deutsche television.
Yeah.
GW. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 2005. We performed here at Big Corner, and we were all over the places and things like that. Also 2005.
Interesting.
And so they've been to Ghana. They know Ghana, and they come and they go.
Now let's now talk about your career. You've left army, you are in the Germany, and you started music.
Yes.
What kind of music did you do then, and is it the same kind of music you do now?
Okay, beginning, I'll put it this way. Beginning, I was interested in all pop music, whatever. Once the music appeals to me, I have no selection, be it regular African music or mainstream music or whatever it was. I like just music. As I said, my senior brother was a very good singer, and he sang Congolese songs and things like that. So everything. But when I got to Germany, like I told you, my number one thing was to learn an instrument, and I selected the guitar to be my instrument.
Okay.
So my thing was to be able to play the guitar properly, and after playing the guitar, then I'll find my own way. But then during my time in Germany in the 80s, the reggae music was a very big thing. Bob Marley was on. It was a very huge thing in Europe. So, and being a black person, that was my roots. So I am back.
You quickly identified with it.
Exactly, I identified myself with reggae music, and I started playing reggae music with groups, so many groups, recording in studios, tours, and things like that.
So how did you break through? Because you are a black African from Ghana, in Germany, doing music. They had German musicians over there, and they had already been established, and people identified with them even more. How were you able to break through in a faraway white man's land?
That's a very, very good question. Okay. When I started playing with groups, my first group was called Walata.
Okay.
And Walata was made up of 3 Jamaicans, 2 other African guys, and the rest of them were Germans. So that was my first group. And I was the rhythm guitarist. I wasn't singing then. I wasn't singing. We had songs written, and then we have to practice all these songs, and then to be able to present the songs in concerts. So that was what I did. So somewhere along the side, I decided, okay, people like Yusuf Ndo, Salfo Keita, there were people that I connected with because I'm an African, and I decided, okay, fine, why don't I start writing my own? So I started writing my own music, my own songs, practicing, trying to bring in the arrangements and things like that also. And the first few songs that I came up with were very good songs. So during our concerts, so I'll present my African side. I'll present the songs that I had written. And I realized that it went on well with the people. People loved it so very much, even though they couldn't understand the language or singing in. So, and that one encouraged me to do more.
And by this time, you already could speak Deutsch.
German, yes. Yeah, I could speak German because I went down to language school as well.
It's interesting. I believe that all of this is just about being hardworking and other stuff. But you had just gone to Germany. Of course, this is a different environment altogether. How was life? Adapting to life? Fair enough, you were in the military, the discipline is already there. But that notwithstanding, Ghana can never be the same as Germany. You know, two different environments.
Yes, that's
you
true.
know, how was it weighing life between Germany and Ghana?
Yeah, well, the first thing that the African will tell you about being in Europe or being in America is the weather.
Okay.
The weather is the first problem. Because here you're used to nice warm weather, every day the sun will shine. You are used to wearing clothes as what I have right now, no problem, everything is fine. But there, you're talking about minus 5, minus 10 temperatures. So freezing temperatures. And we Africans are not used to this. So that's always a problem. You see, but as time goes on, you get used to it. You get adapted to it. But no one would ever tell you that it's comfortable, especially with the Africans. You're comfortable with the weather at all. So the weather is always.
In fact, the weather. A friend of mine went to Turkey.
Yes.
Mystic. And he ran back home because of the weather. He told me a story about one day how like the weather actually killed someone.
Oh,
like,
yes.
He freaked out.
Oh, yes, it's true.
And he saw that, and Charlie, he said, I have a wife and 2 kids at home.
Yes.
I can't die and leave them. So he ran back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just imagine. How would I explain? I tried to explain this to my mama because she was very interested. She was interested to know how the weather was there, and I gave an example. Say, Mama, you see here, you see Bulpiela. Bulpiela, we have the dam over there. So it could be so cold that the water that you have in the dam becomes kicked up, ice, complete ice, complete, and you could walk on the ice, and things like that. So, and then I remember her telling me, it looks like you are all living in a very big refrigerator.
Indeed, that is what it is.
You see, so the weather is always number one problem. And there are some other problems too. Okay, you miss home, you miss your people.
How about have you had, instances of racism attacks on you?
Oh yes, racism is there, but it also depends on where you are. Having said that, racism is not all over. You have very good people. Look at me. Really very good Germans who helped me, assisted me in so many ways. But there are times that you would be in certain areas where some would scorn at you and call you all sort of names. But in general, I would say it's fine. It depends on where you are.
But staying on that, how did it make you feel when you are being like, when somebody attack you racially? How does it make you feel?
Well, you don't feel fine about it. You don't feel fine about when someone calls you names that you don't want to hear,
like the monkey.
So you don't feel, obviously you don't feel good about it. But as I said, there are a lot of good things around. Good things around that that every society
focus on those
exactly
ones, and in
every society there's always a standard of misconduct. You see, so you have good people and you have bad people. And if in general you feel okay with the people that you are and you are recognized, these small elements wouldn't bring you down.
Indeed. And I'm loving every bit of what we are discussing today. And so soon we have to go for another quick commercial break. We'll come back and now delve a lot more into his music career, where music has taken him to. At this age, is he still doing music? I know there's a song that he's doing with the legendary Brian Rashid Kawastone and so many other things. So we have to talk a lot more about those things. And we'll talk about Germany a lot more because they want to go to Germany. We'll talk about a little more about Germany and about his life personally. So we go for a quick break, we come back and then we conclude on this session. Don't worry, we'll be back shortly.
Thank you so very much. And this is my Northern Achiever on Sagani TV. I am Abdul-Jalil Naabeli. I have with me today Mr. Bawa Abudu. He's a musician, you know, and we're talking a lot about him. So music-wise, have you recorded albums?
Oh, I recorded several albums.
And what was your first breakthrough music, like song that you did?
Okay, I'll put it this way. As I said, I played in so many groups, and we recorded album before, but I wasn't a solo artist. But when I became a solo artist, my debut album, that's my first album. Okay, in Germany, let's put it this way. In Germany, most of the songs are either in English or whatever, it's Spanish and things like that. So, and I decided, okay, I like to do African music, but as to whether, you know, I'll be appreciated with the African music that I'm doing when it comes down to the publication of this music, whether it was successful or not, I didn't know, but I didn't care about that. I just said, do it, because people like Yusuf Ondo, Salfo Keita, they're doing it
before.
Yeah, so why don't I do it? So I did it. And my first debut album was Bisa Nabeki.
Okay.
Called Bisa Nabeki. It was recorded in 1989.
And when you say Bisa Nabeki, what language is that?
That's in Hausa. I always sing in Hausa.
Okay.
In Hausa, Bisa Nabeki.
Okay.
The sky is cloudy.
Yeah.
That's Bisa Nabeki. So, and yeah, I was shocked to realize that you know, people started connecting themselves to my music, even though they didn't understand the language at all. So I had to give concerts. The record company that brought this music wanted me to do some concerts, and during the concerts, I realized people liked it so very much, and some of them would come down to ask me, what does this mean, what does that mean, and things like that, what do you mean by this and that, and I tried to explain to them. And then a radio station called my producer and told my producer they would like to have me for an interview, just as we are doing right now. I went in for the interview, and they selected some of my songs, and the songs were played on cultural radio stations. This is how it started. So and I came to Ghana in 1990, and I released the song in Ghana here in 1990, Bisa Nabeki. And out of the songs in this album, I was able to have more than 5 songs which were huge hits in Ghana.
Wow.
Songs like Mebara, Nazama, Mebara, and Africa. Africa. That's one. Bisa Nabeki is one of them. Walgida Sose Sanu. That one too. So many of them, they became really very huge hits.
Okay.
And during those days, we had only 2 radio stations in Ghana. We had GBC 1, and then we had GBC 2, and that was all. We didn't have radio, we didn't have FM stations all over the country also. So the song really sank deep in Ghana.
Yeah, because you have no option than to listen to only the 2. And when you listen to them, you hear the music.
Exactly. And then I was called by the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. There was a guy, Carl Ajiman Banaman. He was one of the legendary broadcasters during those days. I said, come, and then there's one song that you did for Kwame Nkrumah. And this song, we would like to have it. And one song called Mibara, we would like to have these songs. So I went down to the GBC, and then I performed on television.
Okay.
And this was played in Ghana.
What was the song that you sang for Nkrumah?
Okay, I sang about all that he did for us.
In Hausa?
Yeah, in Hausa. All that he did for us, all that he struggled for us to get independence, and that we should adore this man, the sort of basis that he laid for the developments and things like that. I sang about all these things.
And you came to how long did you stay in Ghana before going back to Germany in the 1990 when you came?
Well, I think I must have stayed for probably six weeks or something like that.
Oh, okay. By which time you were already married?
Yeah, I was married already. I had my daughter already.
Okay. All right. And music. What is there in music that you love so much?
Music. To me, music is something that cools you down. Number one. Music is something that goes through your veins. When you have problems, I'm talking about myself. When I have problems and things like that, and I listen to music, you know, it helps me to cool down.
Okay.
And I feel happy when I listen to music. And I think there's no one in the world who doesn't like music. In general, this is what music means to me.
Wow. And does it come handy, you know, apart from all of this, does it come handy? Do you get any serious benefits from music?
Well,
as a musician?
Yes, I always put it in this way that what I get when I take my guitar,
okay,
this is how the best that I can put it. There are people who think, music is just a matter of making money from music and being popular or something like that. That's not how I see music. Music is when I take my guitar and I strike a chord, okay, I strike the next one, and strike the next one, and try to combine all these chords together. What it does to me, it gives me a very good feeling that if I was in serious problem, I usually forget about the problem. It does a lot of good things to me musically, you know, by playing my guitar or my piano or singing and things like that. So this, the first thing that I would say, one, as a musician, I don't know about most musicians, but most musicians will tell you the same thing. See, the love for music is what the music does to them, the feeling that music gives to them.
Not just the money.
No, not just. When I started, I never thought about money. Didn't think about bigger companies coming to sign for me and being a big star or something. I never thought of anything like that. So I wanted to play an instrument and to like what I'm doing.
Nonetheless, did you have companies signing you, labels coming for
yes.
you, and endorsements?
Oh yes. In 2002,
okay,
I was playing. I had to in summer in Europe. Summer you have something called summer jams.
Yeah.
So, and I was playing with my band, and then when we had a break of the first session, some gentlemen came down to me to tell me that my music is good, all that I'm doing is really very good, and that they were, you know, they were working with a record company, and they gave me their card, invited me to come down to see them. I went down, we had a talk, and then they told me, yeah, they'll be ready to record some songs, some of my songs, African songs. So I went in for it, and then we did the recordings, and yeah, they were able to push it through the radio and things like that. So it was nice to hear my songs on radio, and I was called by the German national television to perform some of my songs.
Okay.
And that one opened the chance for me. So I went and performed about 3 songs exactly on German national television. You can see it on the net.
Wow, it's interesting, and I cannot take leave of you without asking you the piece of advice you have for the teaming musicians that we have here. Today we also have a couple of musicians here, and I must say a lot of them do sing chaff, to be fair. And for me, sometimes I don't even listen to this generational music, even though I'm a part of it. But I used to love music from Ahmed Adam, from Abu Sadiq,
yes,
from Sirina Issa and others, because it made a lot of sense to me than what we hear today. And what kind of advice, piece of advice do you have for these young musicians here in their growth generally?
What you're saying is very, very, very interesting. If you listen to our recordings in the 80s and everything, during those days we had no computers.
Yeah.
Everything was manually played.
And it was super.
Take Bisana Beki, take Nazama Meibara and Aftukas and Africa, take Nkrumah, take all the, check the whole thing. Every damn sound that you hear coming from this album was manually played. But today, everything is computerized. You hear, what you hear is computerized. Probably maybe the voice is a real thing that
in fact, even the voice this time, they do a little adjustment to it.
This is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So my advice, what I always tell them is that they should try to learn an instrument. Every musician should try to learn an instrument. Select an instrument of your own choice, be it the guitar, the piano, the horn, whatever, saxophone, whatever. Try to master at least one instrument. Like you know Nana Gazo.
Yeah. Nana Gazo. I'm in touch with him. I'm going to have him on the show very soon.
You see, Nana Gazo, in the 1990, by then he had a studio here. Yeah. He was the one who worked on my first debut album and then distributed them. Yeah. So, and he plays the keyboard really very, very good. He's very, very good. And Sharif Gali, he plays the guitar as well. So I would advise the musicians to try at least to learn
at least one
instrument, because if you learn an instrument, for example guitar or whatever it is, you can compose your own songs and you can make it better.
Yeah.
But if you don't know how to play an instrument, you would have to go to the sound engineer. The sound engineer will let you sing, and he will concoct what he feels would fit your music.
But at least if you know if you learn an instrument,
yes,
you would play it, sing along,
exactly,
and then the technical producer will now look at the sound and give you a sound that will best fit that music.
So you've already shaped your music.
You've laid down a particular foundation.
You've shaped your music and you are presenting your music to him. If he changes certain things from it and you don't like it, you could tell him, no, I don't like it that way. But if you can't play anything at all, you just sing, you just go and sing, you concoct something on the computer. And then this beat, boom, 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 or something like that, so and say that is it. And because you don't know what chords are, you don't know what keys are, you don't know what melodies are.
So you don't even know when this key should be at this particular, like when you are singing and your voice raises up, this key that should come.
Exactly. You see, some of them like that would sing on major keys. Say major keys. Are the G, C, and D. You see, and sometimes there's a tendency of coming into a minor chord. A minor chord. So, and they sing they sing probably in a minor chord, okay, but the sound engineer would put everything on the basic keys.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't be able to, you see. But if you play your own instrument, you play the guitar or the keyboard, you'll be able to arrange your song so very beautifully.
Wow.
To allow your singing to come through perfectly. So if the sound engineer will work on your sound, he already has a photo of everything that you have concocted. You see.
Now quickly,
and he will not be able to influence anything in a way.
Yeah, sure.
If he has to influence, then you have to come together.
It has to be with your consent.
Exactly.
Because you also know what you are doing.
That's the advantage of being able to play an instrument. And that's why I always tell the musicians, you can sing like a bird, okay, but try to learn an instrument.
he does the dondon. Yes. Yes, by a brother of mine. He's a musician, but he has learned the dondon.
Oh, it's fantastic. That is the best thing. One of the best things that you could play.
Mashallah.
The talking drums.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's very good. A very good example is Ayusoba.
Yeah.
Ayusoba.
Yeah.
Ayusoba was in Denmark or something with some African musicians and things like that. So, and because he's able to play his own instrument, African instrument, and he's able to sing and things like that. So he became the champion.
Wow.
So I mean what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean what I'm saying. So if all our musicians, if you're listening to me, my piece of advice is try to play an instrument, try to learn an instrument. During my days, it wasn't easy to get an instrument here in Ghana. You couldn't see guitar, you couldn't buy them. But now everything is there. So please try to learn an instrument, to play an instrument.
So quickly, in about 30 seconds or 1 minute maximum, what are some of the projects coming up, your plans?
Yeah, I've always talked about trying to, I've always talked about wanting to promote our northern musicians.
Okay.
And right now, I'm now in retirement. I'm no more at the forefront again in music.
Yeah.
I compose songs for people in Europe, for other musicians, African musicians, Europeans as well. And I go to studio to help recordings and things like that. So, coming back to my plan of helping northern musicians, that is what we are seeing today. Kawa Stone is one of the best singers over here. And I've been watching him throughout the years too. I mean, there are very good singers, you know, very, very good singers who in the north here. And I decided, okay, fine, then let's do a project together.
Yeah.
Take one of my hit songs, that was a hit in Europe, and also a hit here.
Yeah.
And then let's transform this song into the Afrobeat version.
Okay.
And then see what would happen. That is what we are doing. We've done now.
And I hear the song is ready today, Friday.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not all. What you would hear here will be different from what we still would work on the song in Europe. So as I said, there are a lot of computer things on it, and what we want to do is to extract most of these computer elements out. So I'm taking the data to Europe so that so we'll extract all these computer elements and then replace them with natural instruments, and then offer what we have to the bigger companies to see if they are interested. They will release it, and if we are lucky,
is there the possibility of seeing Kawa Stone joining you in Europe for a tour?
I'll put it this way. I always don't want to promise things.
Yeah.
You see, the thing is, there's a saying: if you have a ticket, you have a chance.
Yeah.
So you have to start. Bob Marley said you have to start somewhere in order to get
to the next level.
Exactly, and that is what we are doing today.
Okay.
So if we are lucky, what we are doing, and we get down, I take the data to Europe, and you know all the computer elements are extracted, real instruments replace all these elements, and we offer the music to bigger companies. They may like it. They may say, okay, fine, you have a chance. We could publish this thing, and this is what they did with my music too. Yeah. You see, so we are now starting somewhere, but we don't know where we are going. But we have the confidence that
it will end somewhere better and bigger.
Like that.
Wow, it's been wonderful having you on the show.
But I would also like to take this opportunity to say thank you to the chief of Sahak Palugu. Okay. Sahak Palugu. A village around.
No, say the thank you in Dagbani. Don't worry.
Umpaka pam.
Sakwalna.
Sakwalna umpaka pam. He did a lot for us. Yeah. So organizing his people all to support his video shootings and everything. I thank them so very much, and I thank all the people who really got themselves engaged in the organization and everything. And of course, I thank my own sister, Hajia Dada Abudu, for standing behind us since we came. And I thank all you these guys too for the wonderful works that you're doing for our people here, our musicians, our artists. Without you, we must say it, without you, nobody will see them. So thank you very much.
Okay, and we also would like to thank you very much. Do you have a guitar here?
But the strings are not okay.
Like I will let you give us some.
The strings are not okay,
Wow.
and I'll give it out for fixing. But some other time.
Yeah, sure.
Some other time we could do it.
All right.
Walgida sauce sanu da aiki. Walgida sauce sanu da zufamu. I think most people know this song. Walgida sauce. I'm sorry, I got some cold, so but at least I tried to bring something.
You've tried your best, and we can only say thank you very much for, you know, everything that you have done for us, because it's not easy getting people like you on the show and to share your experiences with us. You've been candid enough with us, and that is one thing I love about it, and that is the only way that youth can grow. When we have candid elderly like you sharing with us your experiences, it makes it easy for us to learn from you and to be able to follow your footsteps and become even maybe greater than you are someday. So viewers, this is where time is going to allow us today. It's been a wonderful experience with Mr. Bawa Abudu. He's a legendary musician. He's here in Ghana for some time. He'll be going back to Germany very soon. So if you need him, this is the time. You have to be very fast about it. Otherwise, you may not get him again until another a couple of years again. And today, I had a whole lot of a great team behind the cameras. You know, Jawa is like the Wise himself, Afresh One, and the other subordinates all putting their hands together to ensure that we have a successful shoot. Thank you so very much, viewers. Like I said before, and until again I come your way next week, remember that the My Northern Achiever 3rd anniversary celebrations is still ongoing. We expect that you call us on 020-778-2424 for any inquiries and clarities on it, so that we can join our hands and make it a big occasion. Until I come again your way next week, my name is Abdul-Jalil Naabeli. Remember, keep watching Sagani TV, and My Northern Achiever is bye-bye for now.